in circles if you wanna build a life, but I don't wanna make a plan for a day far away. While I'm young and while I'm able, all I wanna do is...
I want to fight the New World Order. I want to fight globalization. I want to fight evil. I want to fight tyranny. I want to stand up what's for right. I want to expose the Federal Reserve. I want to expose 9/11 for the lie that it is. In fact, some 9/11 news that I wasn't able to go over today in full, but through another FOIA request, we found out that the majority of the planes were not used for 9 months prior to the attacks on 9/11. Why? It's a little odd, isn't it? I'm not going to sit here and speculate. I'm going to say it's a little odd that the 4 planes used in the hijackings of 9/11 hadn't flown any flights in the prior 9 months, and they had just been all 4. Very, very odd. It's very odd. Just not used until that day, 9 months. Very, very odd indeed. All right, let's go to Papillon in Nebraska. Papillon, what's on your mind?
Hey, Jason, a couple quick things, and then the reason I called. First of all, Berlusconi, the first part of his name is appropriate, burlesque. The jib-jab video, I think it's great, but I don't see it as pro-Obama. I see it as a good tongue-in-cheek, sarcastic look at the promises he's made that are being broken.
You know, wait, hold on, let me stop you, because some of it is tongue-in-cheek, and the 2 parts that are tongue-in-cheek are the parts with the bailout for the bourgeoisie, and then, what was the other one? I forget. Oh, yeah, the debt. They were both financial. But other than that, man, I mean, he's fighting pirates. He's wrestling bears. He's cooling the globe for us. I think that was the one part that was really almost like a kidney shot. I mean, they don't really expose when he knocks GM off the thing. He's, taking over corporate. In fact, right after he knocks GM down, he's saving a kitten out of a tree. So, yeah, like I said, there's a couple things in there that they knock him for, but the idiot public isn't going to get it. They're going to be like, I like this too, and I like Obama. Look at that cool. I mean, he looks like the Flash, honey. He looks better than the Flash. God darn it, I'm glad he's my president. Go ahead.
Most of them out there do see him as super dude. The main reason I called was the ministers being promoted to, guide their flocks into the camps. Romans 13. I convinced the assistant pastor at my church. I haven't talked to my pastor yet, but Romans 13 does not apply to Americans. The way that they're promoting it, because if you think about it, now those in authority over us, we're supposed to submit to them in their reading of Romans 13, but it's in all good things, what's God's will. But anyway, in America, this is the only country in the history of the world ever, and continuing to this day, where we are the authorities. They, the government, are our servants. They're supposed to submit to us. If they truly want to promote Romans 13, then they should be telling everyone that the government are our servants and they're to submit to us because we, the people, are the sovereigns who are supposed to.
That's a great way to put it, because we are supposed to be a government for and by the people, one that is only accountable with checks and balances, where we rule over the government. That is a great point, actually. That's an excellent. You should do an op-ed piece and send it to writers and articles at Infowars.com, my friend.
I'll consider that. I did send a little blurb, just a little note like what I just mentioned to Aaron and Rob D. But, if I get time, I'll have to get something written up.
And I want to warn people, Rob D is away for a week, so if your email doesn't get answered or I miss a story, I don't have a producer all week. He's away doing interviews with Rob Jacobson, and right now Aaron Dyke's also fully overwhelmed, so forgive us, folks. Forgive us. You get at me on myspace.com/Jason Bermas or Facebook.com/The Infowarrior. I thank you for the call, Papillon. Great as always. Let's go to Eric in Illinois. Eric, you're on the line. Yes, Eric.
Hey, Jason.
Hey.
Hey, I got a funny for you.
All right, let's hear it.
Talking about Bayrak, the Superman?
Yes.
All right. Barack Obama, the slick, smoothing, talking car artist, who masquerades as the President of the United States, but is truly Uberman, who fights for lies, injustice, and the Nazi way.
Oh, that's good. I like it. You should put it to a little music, a little backbeat, maybe get some bass in there. And do a little rap. little rap. Hey, this is a fun show. What else you got for me, my man?
Yeah, well, I was listening to the last guy that came on there. He was talking about Romans chapter 13. But, we have to remember that the government that's always mentioned within the Bible deals with apostles, prophets, pastors, teachers, and evangelists.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
so you're saying it's really outside of the government structure as we see it today?
Yeah, it's all totally outside of the government structure, because you have to remember Christ gave the commandments, for the church to the apostles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the apostles were the head of that government, and the prophets confirm that. That's Ephesians 2:20. The foundation of the church is laid by the apostles and the prophets.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, the chief cornerstone. So, that foundation is, laid by the government through the apostles. So really,
well, I think a combo of your idea and his idea would, again, make a great article from writers at Infowars and articles at Infowars.com. And I think the Watson brothers are checking it out. So do a little op-ed, man. We're not asking for something more than 2 or 3 paragraphs, but I think it would be great to post. I thank you for the call, Eric. Let's go to Vic in Canada. Vic, you're on the line. Yes, Vic.
Good evening. I was wondering if I could get your take on what the angle is with Stephen Colbert and his covering of that the Bohemian Grove, because you guys did all the work with regards to that. You guys were brave enough to cover it, and when you punch in Bohemian Grove, in the search engine, the Dark Secrets is the first link that comes up. So I'm just wondering what's their angle for covering it? Is it to?
I think Colbert's in the know, dude. Listen, Colbert goes as far as he can. He's talked to, he's kind of disparaged 9/11 Truth on a couple occasions, but outside of that, he talks about the Bilderberg Group. He had Richard Haas on. He called him modern-day Illuminati, CFR, right to his face. When he initially did that, what was it, the press club dinner, the National Press Club dinner with Bush and all that, I mean, he called up the entire press in front of them. My favorite thing was when he sat up there and he said, "Don't you know how this works, people?" He's like, the press secretary reports it, you write it down, you print it, and the president does it. And he's like, that way you have more time to work on that novel. The one you've been always dreaming about? The one about an intrepid reporter hell-bent on telling the truth? Fiction. Yeah, I mean, he's literally saying to them, you are propagandists, you're bought and paid for, and you're a joke in front of a room of establishment media. It is priceless. And the things he says to the president are also priceless. And I think that he was actually fair when he did the Bohemian Grove piece. I mean, think about the jokes that he cracked in that. He cracked the joke where Woodrow Wilson said it was the greatest man party ever. And then 2 seconds later he said, and Richard Nixon wasn't far behind. And the Nixon clip they play. That's the most GD, effiest thing I've ever been a part of or you could ever imagine. And although he didn't show them too hardcore in their cross-dressing ways, he mentioned it. He showed the owl god. He said they practiced mock human sacrifice, and he pointed out a bunch of the hypocrisies in it. I mean, he called it a shadowy cabal, and then he said he wanted to be part of that shadowy cabal, tongue-in-cheek. So I think overall it's a good thing. I was smiling and laughing, and I'm probably going to put a little bit of a segment of that in The Invisible Empire I'm working on. Colbert's going to get a few shots in Invisible Empire.
Yeah, well, I hope so, because I don't know, I just get the feeling that him and Stewart are both establishment, and they'll cover it just to do it tongue in cheek, so everyone thinks, it's just like a get together, it's a low level get together when it's not really as high level as it is, right? That's what my kind of logic is when I look at it.
That's tough for me because you know what? Again, I think Colbert's done a lot of good things. I think Stewart's probably a little bit more establishment than Colbert is. But in 2004, The Daily Show put out their first book, and in the middle of the book was a folded up poster, and it was John Kerry boxing George W. Bush, and it literally said skull versus bones on the front of it, being a skull and bones reference. And then on the back, though, this is the part where they're kind of disparaging us, there was this whole Illuminati, fluoride in the water, the Jews do everything, HIV was created by the government, poster of interconnecting points. And some of the points were valid, and then some of them were like clones of Elvis and Jim Morrison and all this other Johnny nonsense. So I would, see if you can find that online. See if you can find the insert to the 2004 book by The Daily Show. It's pretty odd and lets you know that they
PDF.
Yeah. And they're obviously well aware of a lot of the quote unquote conspiracy theories out there, and they are a little disparaging. So I feel you. Who knows? I'm not always right, but I think that Colbert, he's on the right side. He might not be, but I'm not sure. I thank you for the call. Hey, you got it. Let's go to Joseph in Virginia. Joseph, you're on the line. Let's go to, that was our last one. Looks like we're out of callers. Maybe I can cover a news story or two. I told you I was going to talk about Deep Throat. Let's talk about it. So the first porn movie ever, it grossed $600 million for the mob backers on it. It was huge. It was actually in theaters. And while it was going on, and the FBI was trying to thwart this and keep records on this, agents seized copies of the film, arranged for negatives to be analyzed in laboratories, interviewed actors, producers, and even messengers who ferried reels into cinemas. And Mark Felt, the agent who became known as Deep Throat, was the guy behind it. He was like the number 2 in command at the Bureau at the time. And that's if Mark Felt is actually Deep Throat. There's a bunch of contention about this. But here's what's crazy. 498 pages from the FBI file on Gerard Damiano, the movie's director. So if you're a porn director, you got 498 pages on you. And then the full file on the movie Deep Throat, a XXX picture back in the 70s, is 4,800 pages long.